You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle. Hey guys, welcome to the Chiro Hustle DC to B episode. This is pretty awesome. We talked to chiropractic students about what chiropractic means to them, why they got into the profession, and where they're going. So the before, the during, and the after, the most important parts of anybody's story. I have Meir Cioraru with me. This guy is on fire, Palmer chiropractic student out there at the Fountainhead, Davenport, Iowa. And I'm coming in from Grand Junction, which is the Grand Valley, which is the other side of the state in Colorado, which I like to say no one lives, and I like it that way. And this episode is brought to us today by the Universal Traction System. They are heads and shoulders above all the competition when it comes to understanding curve correction therapy with chiropractic biophysics. Thank you, Jason Yeager, for sponsoring this episode. So, Meir, what's up, man?
I'm good. How are you? It's great to be here again.
Yeah, so you're a repeat interview. That's pretty uncommon for what I do this day and age, because I try to give everybody a chance to share their unique story, but we get to do this twice now.
I'm honored.
So we're going to take a different spin with you. We're going to talk a little bit about a hobby of yours, and you like to fish. You grew up down in Miami. Tell us about your fishing.
So a very good friend of mine, Shannon, started taking me on fishing trips. His father was actually a good friend of my father's, and I'm pretty blessed. I am about 2 hours away from the Florida Keys, which is some of the best fishing in the world. So, on the average weekend where neither of us were busy, he'd drive me down to the Florida Keys, and we'd basically go and we'd go shark fishing, snapper fishing. It's some of the best fishing in the world, especially just about this time of year, which I'm actually missing out on it. Most of April and the beginning of May is the mullet run. And it's all the mullet go down the coast of Florida, and you have snooks and tarpons just crashing these schools of mullet. And then you have sharks attacking the snooks and the tarpon and everything. It's wild. So yeah, I love fishing. It's a lot of fun. As you can see, I love talking about it.
Yeah. So what is it like to catch a shark?
It's a battle, that's for sure. It's I don't know. It's becoming a lot more popular now. I think I'm a member of the South Florida Shark Club. I think it was established in the 60s by a guy named Rene de Dios. They actually made a documentary about it not long ago. And it's just been going on. It was just a bunch of people on South Beach who used to go to the pier, and they didn't have a boat, so they couldn't go catch marlin and sailfish and everything. So they just started catching sharks, and it kind of caught on. And it's like they're incredible creatures, incredibly strong animals. So, and it's a lot of fun just catching them. They're really smart creatures too. So you got to sometimes use your tact to reel them in.
Yeah, man, it sounds like a real experience being down there doing the fishing down there in the Keys, and kind of similar to me. Geographically, I go hiking in the mountains. The best hiking in the mountains happens when it gets warm outside. So using your environment to have fun in is very important too. Getting outside. Right. So let's recap. I know our last interview was back in Davenport at the symposium. Let's talk a little bit about some of your takeaways of being there around your big, Palmer Rugby Chiro tribe.
So I think there's a lot to be learned from all the speakers there, and they're all phenomenal. But I think the biggest takeaway for me was getting to connect with some of the alumni that, as a younger student, I probably didn't take advantage of as much as I could have. But now that, I kind of know the language a little better, I'm able to, I know what questions to ask them, to learn from them. So I think the biggest takeaway was being able to pick the brain of a lot of the alumni that are successful right now, and just talking to them about chiropractic. And, I was able to ask questions that I've never been able to ask anyone before. Like, what is a low overhead? Everyone says I have a low overhead. What exactly is a low overhead? What is this? What is that? So it was great to really connect with them on that level,
Yeah, there's So many guys that have been practicing for a long time that are really smart when it comes to business. I think
Oh
that
yeah.
the Palm Rugby Group definitely produces high volume guys and producers in the profession. So it's
Right.
cool to be around that level of influence.
Right. And a great thing is that I'm also a member of the fraternity Pi Kappa Chi. And nowadays, but a lot more back in the day, the rugby team and the Pi House were practically the same thing. Like it was almost there. There were a few outliers that were in one and not the other, but all those guys come back and they all come to the Pi House, and we're all just like again, we're able to hang out and talk chiropractic, talk about life, ask whatever questions you want. So it's great to connect with them on that level. So yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun for me because I come from Davenport, and coming home,
Right.
it's always fun to like walk over to the campus and see the next group of guys that are coming into to the school, and
Right.
seeing the guys like you that are about to finish school, and it's always got a good flow of energy coming through that campus.
Right. I think Palmer's a place to be, man. A lot of great people about to come into the profession. They're I think the technique department is phenomenal, and they're doing everything they can to make us the best chiropractors we can be. So
So you touched on technique. I know that you're really interested in practicing Gonstead technique.
correct.
Talk to me. Tell me why Gonstead.
So when I was back in Miami with the chiropractor that sent me to Palmer, pretty much. He doesn't do Gonstead, but he's a phenomenal adjuster, and I would watch him and I'd be amazed. And he sat me down. He's like, "You need to go out there and you need to go learn Gonstead. From the minute you get there, go learn Gonstead." I was like, "I don't know what the hell Gonstead is, but okay." And I went to the Gonstead Club in first trimester, and it just resonated with me. And I've tried venturing out into other techniques, and it didn't resonate with me as well. I just personally I feel it's extremely thorough, and it's in the analysis and the application, and that's what I loved about it. Every time I try to find something to like, oh, maybe this isn't the best thing, and then I'll read more into it, and I'll be like, and then I just start to think, well, no, actually, that does make perfect sense. And I've tried to look into other things, and it just didn't fit me as well as Gonstead did. So that's why I love that technique.
Well, as I got to know the technique better, it's very detailed for the adjustment. It's very detailed for someone's symptomatology. It's very detailed for the what you use to put the person on to adjust them on. I was blown away, like the knee chest, the
Right.
pelvic bench, the chair adjusting. I mean, all these unique things that Gonstead designed specifically to get the right movement going to the specific
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, and I think at the first seminar I went to, they basically said that there's so many ways to move each bone, and Gonstead has so many alternate moves that maybe cervical chair isn't working. Well, you could adjust them on a knee chest now, and it's extremely thorough, and there's a lot of I don't want to say gray area, but I would say variance in the way you can apply the technique specifically. So that's what I really liked about it.
Yeah, I learned a lot about the technique at the Gonstead extravaganza, and I just saw like the way I like to put it is you guys are when you train, it looks like the Navy SEALs of chiropractic. I just saw like just training camps in every room, and I was just so blown away with how intense the people were paying attention. And then when they got a chance to start practicing and refining their line of drive and refining their motion palpation and finding the segment that was the primary, like I was just so
Right.
blown away with how intense like the groups were paying attention and learning.
Yeah, there's so much that goes into it, and I think the reason that I guess you would call us the Navy SEALs is we just work. It's a pretty hard technique to get good at, right? My first seminar I went to, there was a doc who was actually like a teacher at the seminars. I believe he might have been in practice 15, 20 years, and he's like, I kind of suck. I have days that still humble me to this day, and I just thought, well, that's a challenge, and I like a good challenge, so it kind of put a light under my butt. And yeah, it's just there's so much to it. I've been practicing it since first trimester, and they're the Gonstead Club. They meet on Tuesdays and Fridays, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon, and Tuesdays after school. And so there's so much opportunity for growth and to learn, and that's kind of what attracted me to it. It's just a bunch of hardworking people trying to be as specific as they can.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro. Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic boot camp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle. Yeah, when I have a chance to go onto chiropractic campuses and I go out to the schools and see what's going on, I'm really impressed with the technique clubs. I'm really impressed with the student leadership. I'm really impressed how the students kind of vibe together and they start training, they start practicing, and they take their education to the next level, because you guys are already entrenched in like student clinic and getting your your trimesters down and passing your boards. And then you guys go one step above and you guys do these student groups where you start practicing philosophy and technique on your own.
Right. I think that's honestly, and other schools have this, but that's what I love about Palmer is that you have a bunch of people who are committed to the profession, committed to chiropractic, and just want to be the best they can be before they get out. Because, day one, you see your first patient, and I mean, we're seeing patients in clinic, of course, but you want to be good for that first patient in your office. You want to be the best adjuster you can be for that patient. So I think that's what kind of gets people going.
100%. So let's turn corner a little bit and let's talk mentors. Who are some of your mentors and helped you develop to who you are today, about to exit school?
So many, man. I guess I could just lump the pie house together because there's so many that, alumni and students that came before me that that when I was in the lower tri kind of led me. But yeah, there's so many through the pie house that I'm just not going to name because it'd take too long. My doctors back home, Dr. Gordon Frankel, who went through Palmer, and Dr. Jason Milner, Dr. Bogle, who now teaches at Life West, but used to be an instructor at Palmer. I got a ton of philosophy from him in class, and just going up to his office and just hanging out with him and just trying to figure out some because I think third trimester was when I took his class, and it just it's kind of smacks you in the face like trying to drink from a fire hose, And so I'd go up to his office and be like, hey, what's this about? And he just kind of talks, he talks to me about it, and I learned a lot from him. He's definitely one that sticks out in my mind. The docs at the Gonstead seminars helped me out a lot as well. Yeah.
That's cool, man. See, we all get poured into, so now when you become this chiropractor and you're going to go out there and serve your community, now you can become the mentor as well, and you can take on people and teach them the right ways and influence them and get the next generation of chiropractors going to chiropractic school.
Right. It's all about paying it forward is kind of what I realized. When just going with mentioning the pie house and how it's had an influential role in me. When I was younger, I wanted to join to become the best adjuster or chiropractor, in my school, I guess, let's say. And, those people, they did a great job. I don't know if I'm the best or not, but, that's irrelevant. But, now I feel like it's my duty to pay it forward to the younger trimesters. So I'll go and have a technique night with the brothers, and I'll get people to come teach at the house. So, and then, I know someone will take the torch after me, so it's all about paying it forward.
And you'll go back to symposium, and you'll mentor the youth, and you'll talk to the guys that are playing there, and you'll become even more ingrained in that culture. And that's the beautiful thing about it. You grow leaders, man. And that's what Palmer does. That's what rugby does, is they grow leaders.
Right, and it's almost like a rite of passage. You come back and you talk to your old buddies who are now in clinic, who were in first trimester when you left, and you're telling them like, hey, you're gonna do great when you come out, because you have this, the rugby, you have the pie house, you have all this to fall back on, you have all these people coming back to teach you constantly, and it's
you'll let them precept.
Right, exactly, yeah. I'd love to host people in the future to precept, because I'm looking to gain from my preceptorship, so I'd love to pay that forward someday.
So that gets us to the next question. Are you going back to practice in Miami, or what's the next chapter for you?
So the plan right now, and it's not written in stone, but I'm going to Concord, California to precept and associate under Dr. David Barton, who runs a Gonstead practice out there. I'm looking to learn as much as I can. He's crushing it out there, so I'm trying to learn as much as I can for a couple of years, and then eventually go and do it myself in Miami, go open my own place and do my thing out there.
I was going to ask you, how's the fishing in California?
I don't know. I'm hoping to find out soon now. I know the water's really cold, so
Stay in the
yeah.
boat.
I'm an Atlantic boy. I'm an East Coast guy, so
Bit
we'll see.
warmer waters.
Yeah, I don't like cold water. Cold and water don't mix well unless I'm drinking it, you know.
So at this juncture, for people that are watching and they've gotten to this point with the interview with us, interview number 2 with Meir, kid's dynamic individual going to school out there in Palmer at the Fountainhead. Let's talk about your why. Why did you decide that chiropractic was going to be your future?
So my first experience with a chiropractor, I wrestled in high school and college. So when I was in high school, I was having the shoulder problem. It would constantly dislocate and then relocate it, like in the middle of a match, you know, and it would suck. You know, like I would sleep. You know, I used to sleep on my stomach, and it would dislocate while I was sleeping. You know, and my mom was seeing this chiropractor, and she goes, "Oh, you know, you should see my chiropractor. He says it can help with your shoulder." I was like, "Yeah, right." You know, I didn't know anything, so I was like, whatever, I'll go see the chiropractor, sure. And he explained to me, the chiropractor was Dr. Jason Milner, was my first chiropractor. And he explained to me, you know, what a subluxation was, how it affects the body, and it just made sense to me. It just clicked in my head. I was like, okay. So I would go constantly, and I never really realized it, but my shoulder did get better. It never dislocated again. It was pretty good. And then I went off to college, and I had a wrist problem, and I wasn't complete. He would always call me doc. He's like, oh, you should be a chiropractor, you know. And when I was in college, I had this wrist problem for like 6 months, and you know, it's like it's a sprain, it'll get better. It's a sprain, it'll get better. And my mom switched chiropractors because Dr. Milner had moved, and I was seeing Dr. Gordon Frankel, who was the Palmer alum, and he had me shadow him for a day, and he's like, "Oh, do you want an adjustment?" Sure. And he's like, "Is anything bother you?" He's like, "Yeah, I have this wrist, but I don't know if you can do anything about that." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he adjusted my wrist. Immediately relieved. I had full strength in my wrist back. It was, and you know, like it was just like a light bulb in my head that says I need to do that. Like, so you do a lot of extremities because of that, because that it had a huge effect on me. But yeah, he's the one who told me to do Gonstead. He's like, do Gonstead and extremities, and you'll be great.
That's
Followed
awesome,
his advice, and it hasn't failed me yet. So,
well, next time I see you, I'm going to have you take a look at my ankles.
all right, yeah. See what I can do.
You know, hiking up these big mountains out here takes a toll on my lower extremities.
I bet. Yeah, I'm from Florida. It's pretty flat the whole way. So
you guys are below sea level, man.
Yeah, our biggest hill is a landfill. So yeah.
Oh boy.
My first time running a hill in Iowa for college wrestling was not fun.
Okay. Yeah, man. Iowa's a different animal too, man. You guys don't have as much sunshine as the Sunshine State.
No, it's about 6 months of winter cold bitterness. But
so what was it like transitioning from, you know, down there in Florida to Davenport, Iowa?
So initially, before Davenport, I did my undergraduate in Sioux City, Iowa, at Radcliffe University. So the first winter there felt like an eternity. You know, it was just like cold every day. You know, you walk into school from your dorms and you're just like bundled up, and it was so bitter. But you know, I got used to it. I think you know, now I've just accepted that winter's a thing. You know, but hoping not to have to deal with another rough winter is where I'm at.
Yeah, it will definitely make you appreciate the nice days.
Yeah.
And you know, once it gets like you know, St. Patrick's Day in Davenport, you're like, dude, it hit 40 today.
Yeah.
That's like a big win.
That's it. I was wearing a T-shirt on St. Patrick's Day. I was like, it's beautiful out. You know?
It's 40 degrees, and that's a win, man.
Yeah, it was. You know, I think winter this year around got like a late start. It was, I think, the 22nd of December was the first snowfall. And it snowed here like 3 weeks ago on Monday, you know, on like last Monday or three Mondays ago. Sorry. And it was snowing here. So it was pretty late.
I think I was in Chicago. I was in Chicago when that happened. I was really upset. I was going to go see a Cubs game and it was like 25 degrees.
Yeah. I was pretty upset too. I wasn't going to see a Cubs game, but I just don't like snow that much. So.
Well,
there's not much to do with it here.
Well, we're coming up on the edge of our time. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you'd like to share with our audience today?
I don't think so, man. I think we covered it all. Just, I guess for the students, just keep working at your crafts. Whatever technique you do, make sure you're really good at it and stick with it.
Well, I'm going to throw a quick shout out to the people that were on with us today. Mitchell Crema, he says you're a stud. Pi
He's a
Kappa
great friend of
Chi.
mine.
He's actually going to be,
Kai, yeah.
Kai, sorry. He's going to be going out there and working with Zach Lujan's clinic. Awesome guy.
Great guy. Yeah.
Barry Roberts just says Palmer Proud. Dr. Jeff Arnell, he's a big DE guy. Have you heard Dynamic Essentials? Okay.
Yeah, I've been to the one out in Davenport. It was a great experience.
Okay. Who came to that? Was that Steve Judson?
Yes, yeah, I was.
Awesome guy.
Yeah, it was a great experience. I'm definitely going to another one in the future. So
awesome. Maybe we can go together because he says, hope to meet both of you at DE. You get even better there.
Sounds good. I'll be there.
And then we have Brian and Stephanie Fall says, what's up, Jimbo? Even if you don't do Gonstead, we can learn from the Gondroids to refine our adjusting to an art.
Absolutely. I agree.
So even people that are practicing different techniques in chiropractic support each other. Amen.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. As long as you're practicing chiropractic, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, Meir, thank you for talking to me today on the morning edition. I just want to close out and say this episode is brought to us by the Universal Traction System. If you guys are into chiropractic biophysics, reach out to Dr. Jason Yeager. And you're just one story away, Meir. Keep hustling.
Thanks, Doc. Great being here.
See you, man.
Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.